China's economic rise is impossible to ignore. In just a few decades, it's become the world's second-largest economy and top trading partner for over 120 countries. No longer just about cheap labor, China now leads in renewable energy, high-speed rail, and electric vehicles. A slowdown in China can ripple across continents, affecting global markets. Understanding China's economic base is crucial to grasping the shifting dynamics of the 21st century. China wields its vast domestic market as a tool of foreign policy, making access to its 1.4 billion consumers a top priority for global companies. If a company or country crosses Beijing, it risks boycotts and market exclusion, as seen with South Korea after the THAAD missile defense deployment. China's leverage extends deep into global supply chains, especially in electronics and green energy. Most smartphones and laptops rely on Chinese manufacturing, giving Beijing immense influence over global tech. Disruptions in China can cause worldwide shortages and price spikes, making this dependence hard to unwind. China dominates production of solar panels, wind turbines, and electric vehicle batteries and controls rare earth processing, key for the green transition. As the world decarbonizes, dependence on China only grows. International businesses must balance the lure of China's market with political risks and technology transfer concerns. Many adopt a "in China for China" strategy, but this doesn't solve the fundamental dilemma. The price of entry is often silent compliance with Beijing's rules. China's market power blurs the line between commerce and geopolitics. This leverage is central to its global strategy. China's state plays a direct, powerful role in turning economic strength into global influence. State-owned banks provide massive credit to strategic industries, funding projects private investors might avoid. Central planning through 5-year plans lets Beijing focus resources on priorities like AI, biotech, and semiconductors. This industrial policy creates national champions, Huawei, CATL, that compete globally. The state coordinates, invests, and protects, driving rapid infrastructure development at home and abroad. The Belt and Road Initiative is a prime example, exporting China's industrial and financial power worldwide. By building infrastructure, China gains influence over trade routes and economies. However, state-driven growth can lead to inefficiency, overcapacity, and debt, as seen in the property sector crisis. Despite these risks, the system has proven resilient. The party's ability to direct the economy gives it a strategic edge over market-driven democracies. This unity of purpose enables China to pursue long-term goals with remarkable speed. State power remains Beijing's most potent tool in its global ascent. China faces a looming demographic crisis. Its population is shrinking and aging, ending decades of workforce-driven growth. The effects of the one-child policy and falling birth rates mean China's labor force is contracting, while the elderly population soars. This demographic shift threatens future economic growth and puts pressure on Beijing to find new engines of prosperity. The government is pushing for technological innovation and automation to boost productivity. But with a shrinking domestic market, China must also look abroad for growth, securing foreign markets, resources, and investments. This urgency drives global initiatives like the Belt and Road. As growth slows, the party's legitimacy is at risk, prompting a turn to nationalism and assertive foreign policy to maintain support. Projecting strength abroad helps distract from domestic challenges. China is racing to become wealthy and influential before it grows old. The current decade is critical. Beijing must secure its global position while it still has momentum. Demographics are pushing China to act faster and more assertively on the world stage. The clock is ticking, making this period volatile and consequential. China's demographic reality shapes its global ambitions. The US-China rivalry centers on technology, especially semiconductors, the brains of modern electronics. US export controls aim to block China from acquiring advanced chips needed for AI, supercomputing, and military tech. In response, China is investing billions to build its own semiconductor industry, but it still lags behind global leaders like TSMC and Samsung. The tech race extends to AI, quantum computing, and biotech. China's advantages include vast data and strong government support, but cutting-edge AI still relies on foreign chips. The world is splitting into two digital spheres, one led by US tech, the other by China, especially in telecoms with Huawei. Many developing nations are drawn to China's affordable 5G and digital infrastructure. This competition is about more than markets, it's about who sets the rules for the global digital economy. The stakes include privacy, security, and freedom. Countries and companies face tough choices as the digital world bifurcates. The outcome will shape the future of innovation and power. The tech rivalry is redefining global influence. China's military, the PLA, has rapidly modernized, transforming from a large but outdated force into a high-tech power. Defense spending has soared, funding advanced warships, stealth fighters, and precision missiles. The PLA Navy is now the world's largest by ship count, and China is expanding its nuclear arsenal. The main goal: deter U.S. intervention, especially over Taiwan. China's anti-access capabilities like carrier-killer missiles aim to make U.S. military action in the region costly. The PLA now asserts China's claims in the South China Sea and around Taiwan, using gray zone tactics to shift the status quo. This buildup alarms neighbors like Japan, India, and Australia, fueling a regional arms race and closer U.S. alliances. The Indo-Pacific has become a geopolitical hotspot, with rising risks of miscalculation. The military balance that kept peace is under strain. China's growing power challenges decades of U.S. dominance in Asia. The risk of conflict, accidental or otherwise, is higher than ever. The PLA's rise is reshaping regional security. Taiwan is the most strategic flashpoint in U.S.-China competition. For Beijing, it's a core sovereignty issue. For the U.S., it's a test of credibility and regional order. Taiwan's global importance goes beyond politics. It's the world leader in advanced semiconductor manufacturing. TSMC produces over 90% of the most advanced chips, powering everything from smartphones to fighter jets. Any disruption to Taiwan's chip industry would trigger a global economic crisis. Both China and the US depend on these chips, creating a silicon shield that deters conflict. As China builds its own chip industry, this shield may weaken. US policy of strategic ambiguity is under pressure as China's military grows. Losing Taiwan would shatter US alliances in Asia and upend the global economy. The island's fate is central to the world's digital future and security architecture. Taiwan's status is the most dangerous unresolved issue in US-China relations. The stakes are global, not just regional. Taiwan sits at the heart of the world's most volatile rivalry. China's ambitions are global, with the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, as its flagship project. The BRI funds infrastructure worldwide: ports, railways, power plants, expanding China's economic and political influence. Beyond construction, China seeks to set global rules and standards, especially in technology. It's active in international institutions, promoting norms that favor state sovereignty and its interests. Chinese technical standards for 5G and AI could lock countries into its ecosystem for decades. State-owned banks finance projects in developing nations, sometimes creating debt dependencies. Critics warn of debt traps, as seen in Sri Lanka's port handover. China also wields soft power, expanding state media, opening Confucius institutes, and shaping global narratives. It uses economic pressure, like restricting trade or tourism, to punish critics. This mix of outreach and coercion aims to make the world more accommodating to China's rise. The BRI is about more than trade. It's about remaking the global order. China's global strategy is reshaping international norms and alliances. The US-China relationship has shifted from engagement to enduring competition across technology, economics, and military power. The US and allies are countering China with new industrial policies and stronger alliances like the Quad and AUKUS. China faces internal challenges: an aging population, high debt, and dependence on foreign technology. These weaknesses mean China's rise is not unstoppable, and its leaders may act with caution. A full-scale war is unlikely. Instead, expect a managed rivalry with intense competition but efforts to avoid direct conflict. Both sides have incentives to keep communication open and prevent crises from escalating. The world is dividing into competing economic and tech blocs, with restricted trade in sensitive sectors. Key signals to watch: economic health, China's tech progress, military activity around Taiwan, and alliance cohesion. The future depends on how both sides manage risks and maintain unity with partners. Intense rivalry can be navigated without falling into war. The stakes are global stability and the rules of the 21st century. Managed competition, not inevitable conflict, is the likely path forward. The world must adapt to a new era of great power rivalry.